About the fate of two small fields in rural Lancashire could effectively fire the starting gun for the biggest new energy source since North Sea oil. Councillors in Lancashire have been meeting today to decide if the controversial process of fracking for shale gas should be allowed to go ahead at those sites near Blackpool. Hundreds of anti-fracking protesters gathered outside County Hall in Preston. Inside, emotions ran high as the arguments for and against were heard. Well, our environment correspondent Judy Hobson is there for us now. And Judy, obviously we can still see protesters behind you now. So just bring us up to date at what's been happening there today.
Yes, protesters still trying to get their voices heard. That's Vivienne Westwood, the fashion designer, talking at the moment. Well, this is the first time anyone has applied for fracking on this scale in the UK. So the implications of this decision will affect the whole of the UK. Now, 15 county councillors make that decision. They will vote tomorrow on whether to allow test fracking at Preston New Road. Today they heard speeches from local people for and against this application. Now, first, though, they heard from a planning officer who made a report saying that there should be fracking at this site. But he said objections to fracking is no reason to turn down a planning application. Well, people who do object to fracking have been out here all day, and our chief reporter, Dave Guest, has been with them.
It's full of frack fighting nanas.
They came to chant,
What shall we do to stop the fracking?
to sing, to drum, or simply to ask politely. But however they chose to do it, their message was loud and clear.
I just think it's so bad for the people, the environment.
It's proven in America, so why should we have it here?
But others would say it's been proven that it's a safe industry.
Well, it's not really safe.
Fracking in the UK!
I'm representing Lancashire National Union of Teachers because we're worried about all our students' and teachers' health.
As a teacher, though, should you not teach children to look at both sides of an argument? Because there are other people who say fracking is safe and does represent the future.
Yes, I absolutely agree. You should teach both sides of the argument, but the teachers in the school were prevented from discussing the issue.
They need to be going ahead with these renewable energy schemes.
But even renewable energies have their opponents. People complain that solar farms and wind farms are a blot on the landscape.
There might be a blot on the landscape, but they're not going to damage your health.
Well, Lancashire Police had estimated anything up to 2,000 protesters could turn up today. In the event, it's several hundred, but they haven't only come from Lancashire because they say fracking isn't just a local issue, it's a national one.
We come up from London and we just don't want fracking on our land.
And David Cameron is telling everybody that we, people in Lancashire, want fracking, but he hasn't actually asked us whether or not we want fracking.
I live in Cheshire, which were potentially suffering exactly the same fate.
Others weren't so keen to say where they were from. Why the mask?
People who are against the government tend to face a few repercussions.
And with the council debate continuing for a further 3 days, it's likely Preston will see more of this in the days ahead. Dave Guest, BBC North West Tonight, Preston.
Well, Judy, we saw their protesters outside County Hall. What's been happening inside there today?
Well, yes, a party atmosphere outside. Inside, I can tell you, the chamber has been very tense. Now, residents directly affected by this planning application had their views heard, and some were very emotional. We're just going to hear now from a businessman from Lytham and a mother who has 2 children with asthma.
I do not want us, and which is why I'm standing here today, in the future, that can be from day one of fracking to 100 years from now, to be condemned for an action, a dirty industry that has no place on our soil.
Can you imagine the increase in suffering caused by the fracking fumes and the burning of gas flares? It's a no-brainer. Please don't take risks with the air that we breathe. Please say no to this application.
The oil and and gas industry say fracking is safe, and then the Environment Agency also says it is. And many people here in Lancashire are pro-fracking, and they too had their voices heard today. We're going to hear from Claire Smith, who represents hoteliers in Blackpool, and also from a businessman who works in the environment sector.
We now have 17% unemployment, and of those employed, many of the jobs are seasonal or middle to low income. We have up to 42% child poverty in some wards. Rates of violent crime, sexual assault, domestic violence, alcohol-related deaths and addiction to drugs all exceed the national average, which studies prove is directly related to the lack of work and, in fact, hope.
I think it will be a missed opportunity for Lancashire if we allow safe and responsible shale gas development to fall at the first hurdle, based on fears that I genuinely believe are unlikely to be realised.
So this is a very difficult decision for those 15 county councillors. As you say, it's not just about 2 fields in Lancashire. This is a test case, and whatever decision they make tomorrow will have implications. In fact, not just across the UK, but across Europe too, because some of those countries have banned fracking, and they'll be looking to see what we do.
All right, Judy, thanks very much. Our reporter Judy Hobson at County Hall in Preston.
If you're interested in finding out more about fracking, I know it's an issue we've covered a lot over the months, but we have a distilled look at all of the issues involved. You can see a special video. It's been posted on our Facebook page. There's the address. Gives you about 4 minutes and goes through all the pros and cons and the arguments for and against.
And we will, of course, be bringing you that full coverage of that decision tomorrow. Next tonight.